welcome back to this. We haven't named it yet, and to be fair, you guys haven't messaged us and named it yet. So that is still a thing. If you've got a really cool name for what this is, what we're doing here, please let us know, and it'll be named. And we'll even credit you. It can be, I don't know. We'll move on. Anyway, so I'm really excited that you've chosen to spend some time with us this week. We're going through the book of Philippians. We're starting this week, and Tyler has got an awesome message to share with us. I'm really excited to hear that. And I encourage you to look at to take his challenge and look at the first chapter in the book of Philippians and really take it on board. It's got some really powerful stuff in it. Other than that, we hope to see you tonight. Why? Well, let's ask Kaylee.
All right, if you're watching this, if it's Friday night, tomorrow night is our Rejuve night. And if it's Saturday, it's tonight, which is the 31st of October. Correct. Yes, we're there. All right, so 6:30 p.m. till 8 p.m. Come grab your hot drink, hang out with your friends, and come hang out with us because we'd love that. All right, see you there. Bye.
Welcome, guys, to Philippians. This is the new topic the new book of the Bible that we're going to be jumping into for the next 4 weeks. So there's going to be 4 chapters that each of us are going to be discussing, and I've got the first chapter. So buckle up. It's a letter from jail. Paul's the guy that has written it for us, and he's written it to the Philippians from jail. But it's one of the most joyful letters in the Bible, which is pretty weird considering where it was written. But before I jump into it, I just want to say a quick prayer. Hey God, thank you for today, whatever day that is for whoever's watching at the moment. I just pray that you'll be with them and let my words be your words and for them to get something out of it. Amen. So, the first thing I want to talk to is to ask you a question. When's the last time you complained? And maybe for you guys, more specifically, when is the last time you complained about a teacher? I know when I was going through high school, I used to complain about my teachers all the time. And, the funny thing, I'm actually studying to be a teacher at the moment. So no matter how many complaints I used to say, they actually changed my life for the better. And what I want to talk to you guys about is how much at the moment we tend to complain. I'm guilty of it as much as the next person. We tend to complain about everything. No matter what you do, you buy a product online or whatever, and there's a little button at the bottom say reviews. I don't know if you've ever filled out a review before, but most of the time when you receive a product and it's good, you don't necessarily want to review it. You're like, yeah, good, it works, who cares? But if you get a negative product or you don't really like it, you're like, yeah, got to get in the comments, got to say something negative about this thing. And at the moment, I feel as though we're almost professional complainers. Everything we do, even on a day-to-day basis, we're walking around, oh man, today at the moment while we're filming, it's actually pouring outside. And you walk around, oh man, it's so cold. Or, oh man, I wish I didn't have to get wet. Oh, my shoes are wet. Stuff like this. And in the book of Philippians, Paul's actually writing from jail. One of the most negative, you would think, the most negative places to be on earth. There's plenty of reasons he could have had to complain, and yet he writes one of the most beautiful and most joyful letters to the Philippians. And if you turn to it in Philippians 1, 12 to 14, it says, "And I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, that everything has actually happened to spread the good news. For everyone here, including the whole palace guard, knows that I am in chains because of Christ. And because of my imprisonment, most of the believers here have gained confidence and boldly speak God's message without fear." So, in this part here, this is the introduction to his letter, and he's actually talking with joy. He's bringing the goodness out of why he's there. It says here, I'm in chains because of Christ. And if you go through the rest of Philippians, as we will for the next 4 weeks, there's actually no mention by Paul of his conditions in jail. And at the moment, Corona's going on, it's raining outside, and we have all of these negative things that are around us. And yet, Paul was in jail, and not once in a whole letter to these people does he describe his conditions. And something else that's pretty crazy? 16 times in this book, Paul describes joy. And not once does he pray for them. Not once does he ask for them to pray for his release. He's in there because of Christ, and that's a challenge. He wants us to find joy. Well, that's a challenge to us, is to find joy in the hard place. You have to flip it. But that's not always easy. It reminds me of a story. Well, not a story. It reminds me of when I was in Cambodia. I don't know if you've ever been traveling or if you've been hiking even, and you get hangry. You know, you haven't had enough sleep or you haven't had enough food. And this was one of those days for me, right? And it was actually kind of like a tourism day. Like, we got to see what Cambodia was like. And we went to a mountain that had 1,000 steps, I think, and it had temples at the top. And I was so caught up in how little I'd had to sleep or how little I'd had to drink or eat. I can't remember what it was in the moment. But I remember being so miserable climbing up those stairs with all of my friends that I forgot to experience the joy in the moment. I feel as though some of the times we get so caught up in looking ahead or looking behind us that we forget to get the joy and the blessing out of what we are in the middle. So, back to the challenge, Paul's challenge, to find the joy in the hard place. This week, as you go about your week, I want to challenge you, girls, guys, I don't mind. On my wrist, I have a makeshift hairband. Anytime that you catch yourself, I'm going to try to do this myself. Anytime you catch yourself complaining, I want you just to lift it up a little bit and hit your wrist. And that will remind you to flip it. Instead of being negative, so at the moment it's raining outside, and instead of saying, oh man, I hate it, it's so wet, it's ruined my shoes or whatever, you can ask for a blessing and say, oh man, we really needed that rain so the grass can go green. But that's my challenge. That's Paul's challenge this week. And have a great week. And tune in next week for Philippians 2.
Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us. Have a really good week, and we'll hope to see you again next week.